the max can go up throughout the whole period, which is 30 years. They're amortized over a 30-year period, meaning that they're due to pay out in 30 years, is 5%. In that situation would be 7.875. It's the worst you could ever have on that particular loan per that agreement. So you don't have to pay those back. Unlike a balloon loan, let's say you had a 7-year balloon, at 7 years, you're refinancing, or else they're coming to get your house, type thing. So those you have to refinance and get into a different loan. ARMs, they just go into a new loan based on the caps. Okay. Amortization. When people say amortization, that's just what period of time you're paying the home out in. Okay. Generally, we have like 10-year amortization, 15-year amortization, 20-year, 25, and 30. They did have 40-year. They don't have those right now. Closing costs. These are just costs associated with your closing the loan. And I'll kind of go through those as well here a little bit later on. Conventional loan. These are a loan that is not insured by the government. These are more private money, and that's why you have to have PMI. Debt to income ratio, big important piece. Okay, that's basically a big part of the numbers that we're looking at is loan to value. Okay, basically loan to value. I don't have that one on there. Loan to value is your loan compared to what the value is, or the purchase price. So if your home is $100,000 and you have an $80,000 loan, you're at 80% loan to value. Okay, and that's an important piece. The other one is the debt to income ratio. Let's say that your income is $5,000 per month. We look at it per month gross. So before taxes are taken out, before your 401k, any of that stuff's taken out, well, that's the way we look at your income, and that's the way we figure your debt to income ratio. So if let's say you're making 60 grand a year, $5,000 per month, and your total payments, you have a front end ratio and a back end ratio. Front end ratio is how much you pay for your housing. Okay, if you pay $1,000 for your housing and you make $5,000, you have a 20% ratio there. And let's say that you have $1,500 in other payments that you make. Okay, so you have a total between your housing and your other payments, $2,500. Now you're at a 50% debt to income ratio. Normally you're not going to get approved on that. You need 45% in today's market, unless you go FHA. FHA is a little more lenient on that stuff. Down payment. So down payment, when you're getting a down payment and you're doing FHA, 100% of it can come from a gift. If you're getting a conventional loan, then you need to have at least 5% of your own money into it, unless you're doing a 3% down program. Then they're going to require that you have a certain amount of reserves. Basically, after you close a loan, you have to have a couple months worth in the bank still to pay in case something came up. Could include a 401k, stuff like that. Fixed rate mortgages basically remains fixed throughout the whole period. Again, we have the 10, 15, 20, 25, or 30 year. A lot of refinances I'm doing right now. People had a 30-year fix at, let's say, 5%. I'm doing them at like a 20-year, increasing their payment by about $100 a month, and they get it paid off in 20 years. So that's another thing. When people do loans with me, I usually watch out for them to give them into a better loan should the market improve to the point where it would make sense for them to do so. Jumbo mortgage, we kind of covered that. Points. So whenever you hear points, sounds very, doesn't sound bad. It's not a bad thing. Oh, it's 3.875 1 point. Well, 1 point is a lot. Okay, 1 point is basically what you're doing is you're prepaying your interest up front on a point. So 1 point is equal to 1% of your loan amount. So if you get a $300,000 loan amount, you're paying 3.875 as your rate. Then you're paying 1 point. You pay $3,000 to the lender to get you a better rate. Normally, I'll calculate that out for people. They say, well, how if I pay a point down? Well, you can do that, but then usually your payback period to get all that money back that you prepaid, usually about 5 years. Usually takes you about 5 years to make up the difference of what your payment would be if you just got the regular rate. Let's say you're trying to pay 1 point to get 3.75, and you could get 4%. Usually that 1/4%, it would take you about 4 or 5 years to get that money back. So if you're thinking you're going to be in that loan for greater than 4 or 5 years, then it might make sense, but normally I wouldn't recommend that you do it. PMI, that's private mortgage insurance. If you don't put down 20%, then you have to pay this fee. And on conventional loans, you have to pay the private mortgage insurance. On FHA, you pay just mortgage insurance payment, MIP. Okay, so it's PMI and MIP, and the cost on that really depends on how much you're putting down. For example, if you put down 5%, the cost is, if you got real good credit, it's 0.62 times your loan amount divided by 12 is what that would cost you. If you're putting down 10%, it's 0.47, so on and so forth. Again, depending on your credit scores, things like that. Okay. Now to kind of get into a few other things here as far as the actual loan approval, how that would work. Okay. First of all, why be pre-approved? And if you got questions along the way, feel free to shout them out. I'd be glad to answer anything you guys have. Why you want to be pre-approved? First of all, you want to see what you can be approved for. A lot of times what you can be approved for and what you want to be approved for might be two different things. It's not as aggressive as it used to be. In today's world, I can approve you up to a 45% debt-to-income ratio. It used to be, back when they were doing the bad approvals, 65%. So it's gone down.
Wow.
20%.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, now that's a little crazy considering your tax rate. By the time you pay your taxes, you don't have any money left for anything else. You know, it's like, wow, that was a little crazy, I gotta say. Yeah, exactly, 15%. Right, exactly. Then you still have your 20% left. Also, it's important to be able to let your seller know that you talked to me or somebody in getting pre-approved. If you're a seller and somebody wants to come make an offer on your house, you might look like a nice guy and all, but show me the money. I've got to make sure that you are qualified to make that offer. Really important piece.
You can close.
Right. Yeah. I want
Come
to make
back
sure.
to them
Yeah.
hand in hand, saying, "Oh, I can't."
Because
get a
otherwise,
mortgage."
they tie up their property. Might be
Yeah.
prime season, that type of thing. They've got other offers potentially on the table, and then you obviously make an offer right away. And most realtors are going to want you to do that as well, because Bert takes time out of his weekend
Yeah.
to drive you around, looking at, and then all of a sudden you come back and you're not qualified. Oh, that would piss him off. Can I put that
Well,
on your
it'd be
video?
frustrating when you find a property you love and you say, "This is my home," and then you can't get a mortgage.
Right,
Can
right.
you imagine?
And then two, by getting pre-qualified, also it lets you guys know if there's any skeletons, anything like that. Because sometimes there's skeletons. I'm just saying, I've seen some skeletons pop up, speeding ticket, parking ticket, medical collection. It's like, what? What's going on? And then I have to help them work through that thing. A lot of times that might not disallow them to get a mortgage, but it'll make a big difference in the approval that I can do for them.
Give them an example. I think you told me about someone had a medical collection. It wasn't for a lot of money, but it hurt their credit score 100 points or something.
Oh yeah, I honestly I do 1 to 2 credit cleanups per month. I really do, and this is no kidding. I really do. And like, for example, I got a gal now. Her credit score is like 640, right? And I had her pay down a couple credit cards, and I had her clean up this one, coached her through it on how to get this one collection taken off. Her credit score is going to be 800. So she's going from 640 to 800.
Wow.
It might be that's pretty close to the highest I've done, biggest I've done. 160, that's a lot. That's a big improvement.
Yeah.
So, so that's, you want to get those skeletons out right away. Let's take a look at that and get that resolved, because it's amazing.
Yeah.
Personally, I know what I know about credit. My credit score's in the 800s, but I also get something in the mail from the city of Evanston. It said, we're going to send your thing to collections if you don't pay this parking ticket. I'm like, what? What parking ticket?
Yeah.
It's $25. I tell them, what? Whatever you need, I'll get it to you.